Welcome to episode 110.
Good morning, you people.
Yeah.
110 episodes. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, think about this. We've actually had more episodes of the podcast than the Granny Show.
Right. Yeah, I think we only needed like 5 episodes. So.
Wrong. They went like, didn't they go like 2 seasons or was it just
I don't think so. I could be wrong, but anyway, WWE TLC tomorrow, and that freaking A, man. They've got 12 matches lined up for that card. 12 matches. That's just freaking insane. Now, we'll see what they do, but like you would think.
What's up, nerds?
What's up, Flat Indiana? How you doing, man? But 12 matches. I mean, that's even insane. If they put 2 or 3 of them on the pre-show, how long could these matches be? Like.
There has been some speculation that Braun Strowman will not be able to compete tomorrow night at TLC because of he had that elbow surgery and everything. So that might be, they're just putting that there just for the sake of just putting it there and everything. There's got to be at least 1 or 2 squash matches. You got to think.
Even so, WrestleMania usually only has like 8 or 9, matches. And they have 5 hours.
Thanks for tuning in.
So,
it's been a while.
So,
yeah,
I don't know.
That was when you said 12 matches before we did the show. I kind of looked at you like kind of funny, and I'm like, no, that can't be right. Like WrestleMania is like 14 matches long, and they have 3 of them on the pre-show.
Right.
Granted, you need like 3.5 hours to do the Undertaker's entrance and Triple H's entrance. So,
right.
So, yeah. So let's get into things.
Yeah. So, anyway, there were one of my favorite things this week. We'll get into it, but we're also going to get into a little fucking Billy D. Williams, even though we're not drinking this morning, because I'm leaving like right after the show.
Yep, tomorrow is TLC. So that's why we're doing the early morning podcast, because I'm trying to sneak it in and everything.
Yeah, good times.
Works every time.
Damn straight. It hasn't quite worked for me, but I enjoy it anyway. Because I'm not Billy D. motherfucking Williams.
And also,
Booty-o! They make sure you ain't booty.
Oh, somebody actually asking about the whiteboard.
What? No.
Flat Indiana asked about what's on the whiteboard.
I told you.
I hate
it's the most over thing on this fucking podcast.
I hate it.
I cannot believe it.
I hate it.
I told you.
I hate it.
And you told me last week, your exact words were, you're the only one that cares about the whiteboard.
You're the only one that cares about the
Clearly,
whiteboard.
I'm not the only one that cares about the whiteboard of Wondertude. I told you that thing was over. You don't listen to me. And it's fitting that I'm wearing the Goonies shirt because I feel like Chunk. Because you guys never listen. See, I told you there was gonna be trouble. You guys never listen to me.
Yep, he wants to know what's on the whiteboard.
Oh,
wait. I mean, I'm surprised you're not gloating even more. That one person.
That's all it takes is one person.
Right.
Because if you go from 0 to 1, that means the thing is actually getting more recognition than it deserves.
Yeah.
And it's actually working, and it's working in my favor because the whiteboard of Wondertude is that over.
Yeah.
What did he say?
No, he said, let's make the podcast great again by bringing back the whiteboard.
All right, so this week on the, you're just so,
I hate it.
You're disheveled.
I hate it so much.
How could you hate something that actually gives us some kind of direction towards this podcast?
Because we can still have the direction without pointing it out every week.
Yes, but
I like it.
I love the
I like it.
The fact is, this thing was basically sitting around collecting dust, and now it just collects dust 6 days a week.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, so this week as always, we're gonna do the good, the bad, and the brainless. Obviously, if people from last week's episode, I'll bring it up after this. We'll get into that. We got some predictions for TL tonight. Yeah, have another one, brainless one. It's too damn early to start drinking. For tomorrow night, I mean. Another announcement. Vince McMahon is going to be on Monday Night Raw this coming Monday. That's
I wonder what that's for.
I have my
Well,
theories on
there's
that.
one reason. Everybody fucking knows why he's going to be there.
He's gonna try to bring back Roman Reigns. He's gonna try to do that whole thing like the Green Mile, where Michael Clark Duncan takes the pain away from what's his face's wife, and then Tom Hanks, and got rid of the whatever. Fuck, I have to watch that movie again. It's been a while. He's just gonna take the leukemia from Roman Reigns. No, okay, I tried. And then there's other news and notes in professional wrestling this week. Most of it has to do with WWE. Some of it has to do with stuff outside of WWE. So we'll touch base on that. So yeah, let's get rolling. Let's talk about some news and notes.
Oh, wait. And I'm so happy that this happened. So happy.
Monday Night Raw has sucked. Monday Night Raw has sucked. Monday Night Raw.
I'm glad I didn't tell you about it. It would have ruined the whole thing.
I would have probably laughed almost as hard as that if you had told me, because it's fantastic.
Yeah. Seth Rollins telling me. And I'm coming out right now and saying that is my good for this week.
The truth.
Seth Rollins telling the truth.
The truth shall set you free.
It's fantastic.
Monday Night Raw has sucked. Monday Night Raw has sucked. Monday sucked.
I gotta get that sound. I gotta send it to Corey. Corey would appreciate that, because Monday Night Raw sucks every single week. Is that why you think that the old man is going to be making an appearance on Raw this week?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have my theories on it.
Now, the thing is, anytime that they've had sagging ratings, they bring out Vincent Kennedy McMahon to help prop them up for a bit. Now, I have been one out here that has said, hey, you know what, biggest deal in the world. They just signed new deals. Money-wise, they're fine. They're going to be fine for a while. But the product itself, in-ring is fine. The stories are all over the place. The characters are all over the place. And, I think people have kind of had enough of it. And supposedly Vince McMahon's going to be on there Monday to shake things up. And it'll be the start of, moving towards Royal Rumble. So, which, with the shape of the ratings and how pissed off people are about how bad the shows have been, this. What can you say? It's they need to do something, but what are they going to do? Like 15 years from now, bring out Vince McMahon's carcass because ratings suck? But I don't know. I don't know what to say about Raw
I think
anymore.
15 years from now, Vince will still be alive, and it's gonna be like Stan Lee making those cameo appearances in all of his movies of all of his comic books.
Right.
And it's gonna be like Vince in a wheelchair, just like kind of like slugging along and everything, and he won't be able to get out of the wheelchair, but yet somehow, some way, he'll still be able to eat a Stone Cold Stunner.
Right.
Just call it as it sees it.
Right.
With Vince coming out on Monday, it's like the old saying, call for desperate measures. And I think that's the reason why Vince McMahon is coming out, because, as you've been saying, have been complaining about Raw, because a lot of people have been taking to social media. People have been going out on Twitter and just absolutely trashing how bad Monday Night Raw has been for the last probably couple months, probably since SummerSlam. And I think part of it has to do with the untimely circumstance that occurred with Roman Reigns, and obviously that has a lot to do with it, because if you're building, because typically they're building towards WrestleMania months and months and months and months and months beforehand. So obviously with Roman, we wiped out what they were going to potentially do with the Universal Championship for WrestleMania.
Sure.
I'm not saying it's terrible what happened with Roman. I've been saying that since I found out the news and everything, and I don't wish anything bad on people. But it kind of makes you think that you should have a backup plan. I mean, it's like last year. Remember last year when they were going to do the whole with Survivor Series, where they were planning on doing the champions versus champions for both shows.
Sure.
And then Brock Lesnar comes out and says, "Well, I don't want to fight Jinder Mahal." So what do? They called an audible right before Survivor Series and put the title on AJ Styles so that Styles could go up against Brock Lesnar.
It worked out great.
And it worked out great because Styles ended up holding. He actually, and a lot of people trash that title run. I don't agree with that. I think he had a pretty solid run. He defended the title a hell of a lot more than Brock Lesnar did. And sometimes you got to call an audible and you have to have a backup plan. Obviously, in this case, they didn't have a backup plan because they were banking heavily on the big dog, having a very long run. Because if memory serves me correctly, Roman Reigns hasn't had like a substantial run as champion. A lot of his runs have ended really quickly. I always think of when he won the title, and then turned around and lost it immediately to Sheamus the same night. I don't even think he held the title very long after he lost it to Triple H at the Royal Rumble when AJ Styles made his debut. I think that with Roman and sick has just completely butt-fucked everything that Monday Night Raw was going to have going for it, and they just kind of panicked. And these are all panic moves that they're doing. The whole Baron Corbin general manager has been a fucking dud since they came up with this idea.
Baron Corbin is just one of those people, and it goes back to what I was talking about last week, that they can't cut a promo and they get so used to having things scripted. He's one of the people where it's like, I don't feel he believes any word that he's saying. He's like, I need to memorize this script.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe it. And he says it. So
he looks the part, and he's a solid. I'll give him. He's a solid ring performer. In fact, he's a Gold Gloves boxer, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he knows how to fight. The thing is that some people just don't have, as Chris Jericho so eloquently puts it, it. You need to have it. You need to have that it factor. Chris Jericho had that it factor. The Rock obviously had the it factor. Stone Cold Steve had the it factor. John Cena has the it factor. I even say has developed like an it factor. Seth Rollins
I think Roman's had it the whole time. He just wasn't a good talker. Now he's become a pretty solid.
He's
talker.
improved much. He's got much.
But like the way he carried himself, he had the it factor. You're like, yeah, this guy's got something about him.
Seth Rollins has the it factor. Dean Ambrose has the it factor. AJ Styles has the it factor. Samoa Joe obviously has the it factor. And unfortunately for Baron Corbin, that's been his Achilles heel, so to speak, as to why he hasn't developed as a much better character for WWE. So I think that's what's kind of holding him back, and why this whole thing with him as the interim general manager has been an absolute dud, which is why I think part of the reason why Vince is going to come out, because he's going to shake things up. And it's not going to have any impact on how I think my predictions are going to go for TLC. But I think that Vince is going to ultimately make a decision for the new general manager of Monday Night Raw. And I think that Baron Corbin, whether he wins or loses on Sunday, will not be general manager of Monday Night Raw. And I think that Vince is going to go in there and he's going to put somebody else in that position. I have very, very sneaky suspicion of who I think it's going to be.
All right.
Alexa Bliss. Because you know why? You know what she has? It.
We'll see. I mean, they said that I think it was this week sometime, that she was starting light in-ring training, and then there was another story saying she wasn't starting training again. But it seems like she's slowly but surely kind of getting back to that place where she'll be able to.
You know how they've been treating the concussions and everything. I mean, Daniel Bryan was out of action for almost 3 years with the concussions, and then finally they cleared him to come back to in-ring, action. And it also goes back to with the whole Monday Night Raw thing. If that is the case, they're going to be on their 4th Monday Night Raw general manager in like 2.5 years.
Well, I mean, Corbin's interim. Technically speaking, Kurt Angle is the GM. They've never officially taken the title away from him. They sent him on a long vacation, is what they said.
Then they came back dressed all up in gold and looked like a skinny Golga.
Right.
Slightly skinny Golga. If y'all don't remember, get that reference. That was back when John Tenta had his final run at WWE, and he was part of the Oddities where he wore a gold mask. It was called Golga. Back in the late 90s. With Kurgan and the Giant Silva and Luna Vachon and the Insane Clown Posse.
Right.
Not the Insane Clown Posse, the Oddities.
Right. So, Vince is there obviously to prop up ratings, and we'll see what they come up with. Hopefully, what they do is just have 3 hours of Elias concerts, because I think that would definitely improve things.
Now, if they did 3 hours of Elias concerts, would you stay up for all 3 hours of Monday Night Raw?
I probably would.
Okay.
He's the GOAT.
Why'd I even ask? Why'd I even ask?
He's the GOAT.
Okay, what if they did like all Elias concerts and then they gave you like Finn Balor versus, it doesn't matter, Seth Rollins every week?
That'd be fine.
Okay.
That'd be fine.
What if it was just 3 hours of Baron Corbin talking? Would you be part of the brainless boycott that I've been on for now 3 weeks?
Probably. I mean, it might be comic relief. It might be that bad. That, you know, it might be like Sharknado, where eventually you're kind of like,
No.
terrible. Come on.
Don't you dare disrespect Sharknado like that again. Never compare something to Sharknado because the Sharknado is the GOAT.
Sure.
Sorry, I had an itch. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do on Monday. I'm interested to see what happens with Vince. I might actually take like a 1 week hiatus from my brain.
What?
Boycott. I need to see what Vince is gonna do. I'm sorry.
You can watch after on highlights. If you put down a boycott, you boycott the damn thing.
I mean, but yes, I'm actually starting to kind of regret the whole boycott after 3 weeks because I missed Seth Rollins telling Baron Corbin that Monday Night Raw sucks.
Monday Night Raw has sucked. Monday Night Raw has sucked. Monday Night Raw has sucked.
If you didn't in a row, it's still gonna suck.
Oh, wait. Here we go. Here's...
Monday Night Raw has sucked. And it sucked. It sucked because of you.
No, Monday Night Raw has sucked before Baron Corbin took over. Even before he was Constable Corbin, which was actually tolerable because he was kind of like that douchebag that kind of just.
He was Corporate King.
He was Corporate Kane, but as a douchebag and a constable. I don't even think Baron Corbin can actually spell constable. I'm surprised he can even say constable.
Right.
I have other theories, but we're not going to get into that. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Vince. Maybe
Alright.
that's all I'll watch to see what happens with Vince, and then just turn it off. And then
Why do you tell people that you have other theories and like, oh, I'm going to keep them to myself?
I think that the general manager isn't going to be the only thing he shakes up. Then
All right.
I think that he.
Do you think they're going to send, let's say Nia Jax figures out a way to win. Do you think he sends Ronda Rousey over to SmackDown so we could get our Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey thing?
I think somebody's going to move. I think.
Or do you think Becky Lynch loses and ends up winning Royal Rumble?
I think if Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
I think Becky. It's going to be part of my prediction, but I do think that Becky Lynch will end up on Raw.
All right.
Because she is the hottest thing in WWE right now, and she ends on SmackDown. And I think that there's going to be a swap. If it's Nia Jax to SmackDown, I will boycott SmackDown instead, because she's 62% of the reason why I'm boycotting Monday Night Raw, because that fat bitch still has a contract. And I'm not drunk enough to go off on a rant about Nia Jax.
You need to be drunk to go on a rant.
To have like a heartfelt, really deep, like I fucking hate everything rant, I need to have a solid buzz going. I can't just be like, oh look, I'm just gonna drink my Monster Energy drink, which might become the third unofficial spokes beverage thing of the FMR's podcast.
Right. Third.
By the way,
Third beverage.
whatever.
Numbers aren't your strong suit. I know.
Are you gonna play it? Don't we have that soundbite?
I've got several of them, but
Do you have the Scott Steiner?
of course I do.
I mean, it's
Of course I do.
Jay,
The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you as sacrifice.
Yeah.
never have I met a human being who was 100% dead on balls with math, but absolutely obliterates, not even butchers, obliterates the English language like Scott Steiner.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
That was still one of the funniest. I'm sorry, that bit with fucking Steiner with fucking Joe and Angle was still one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Again, one of the most overrated wrestlers in wrestling history, Scott Steiner. Yes, it was incredible. He was able to do the Frankensteiner. Yeah, I'll give him credit for that. That's incredible to pull that off. But after he got really, really roided up and he was just like a fucking walking meat market, I'm like, no, he's terrible.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And with him, I will always think of Scott Steiner from the Finger Poke of Doom when Hogan, poked Nash and he pinned and they celebrated. And Scott Steiner jumping up and down like a fucking roided up Easter bunny was like the worst thing I've ever seen. And that's what I'm always going to remember him for.
Great. All right.
So, any other news and notes we want to bring up for this week?
Yes, I do. Cody Rhodes lost to Jay Lethal, and Cody, like for a while, had been talking about, hey, I'm going to win the Ring of Honor title. I'm going to take in the free agency with me. I don't think anybody thought too seriously about it, but it was interesting that he just brought it up. But we all know next month he's going to make his big announcement, and he's also been teasing that there might be a couple more all-ins. I think he mentioned Australia as one place, and I think he mentioned Europe.
England, because they said those are the two hottest markets outside of the United States and Japan that would, because as he said it, if you bring it, they will come.
Yeah. So
Did you notice that he didn't say Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Because only Vince McMahon is a complete fucktard that would actually put his wrestlers in danger by putting them into Saudi Arabia.
Except for a 10-year contract.
Except for Sami Zayn.
And female wrestlers.
Yeah. Also this week, Cody Rhodes came out earlier and said that WWE actually made him a substantial offer to return to the WWE, and he turned them down. And then Dave Meltzer came out and said, wrong. That's not the case of what actually happened. He took time away from his YouTube videos of watching Kenny Omega as he was, jerking it a little bit to his Omegas and his Okadas and everything else that has to do with Omega. I'm pretty sure that he's seen Omega naked. I mean, it's possible. He's got a serious man crush on Kenny Omega, but he did take time away from his extracurricular activities to say that Cody Rhodes has actually not gotten an offer from WWE, because if that was the case, he would have actually signed because they were going to give him whatever that he wanted, like a main event caliber contract to re-sign with WWE.
Interesting.
But it's going to be interesting. This could all be smoke and mirrors. See what I did there?
That was pretty good for you.
I just hope he comes back as Stardust again.
He doesn't want to be Stardust.
I know he doesn't want to be Stardust, but you know what? I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's not a human being on this planet that could have knocked out the Stardust character better than he did.
Right.
He was perfect for it. Maybe Chris Jericho, because Chris Jericho's a GOAT.
Right.
But Cody Rhodes. Also this week, we actually found out yesterday that one half of the tag team in NXT, formerly known as TM61, they were another tag team before they were called TM61, and they were then more recently known as the Mighty. Nick Miller has been released from his NXT contract. I was caught off guard by that one. I didn't expect that, because they were actually getting like a slight push, because they were one of the tag teams in NXT that was actually getting some big wins. They had some victories over the Heavy Machinery. They had a rivalry going on with the Street Profits and everything. So this one kind of caught me off guard.
And they lost this week to Tony Lorcan and Danny Burch. And like
that's your boy, Oni Lorcan.
it is my boy, Tony Lorcan. It's Sean O's boy more than my boy, but actually, like, it was one of the best matches of the week. It wasn't super long, but like the pacing of the match, and it was great. And it's like, I don't know if there was some stuff behind the scenes. I don't know if that dude's, you know, if he's a troublemaker behind the scenes, but you know, unfortunately for the Mighty, they kind of got hit with the injury bug a bit, where kind of say similar to the Revival on the main roster, where they just, anytime it looked like they maybe had started to get momentum, one of them got hurt. And
it was funny because like one got hurt, and when he was about to return from his injury, the other one got hurt immediately right after. I don't know how, because you're not wrestling if you're not, if you're not having a tag team match.
well, I mean, they could still have them, you know, at the Performance Center.
Yeah.
They could still end up, in singles matches on house shows.
Just
You can
remember,
do things like that.
they were in the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Memorial Tag Team Tournament against the Authors of Pain in the second ever version of that tournament, and then they kind of made a heel turn and became the Mighty, which was fucking stupid. But so was TM61 and every other stupid name they've come up with. So it was just kind of surprising that he got released. I was like, I did not see that coming.
Well, good luck to Shane Thorne going forward as a singles competitor, and we'll see what they do with him. Hopefully, well, he needs to be repackaged and come up with something
Maybe they
more
can,
than what he has.
maybe they can bring him as the new Kazarni.
Sure.
He could be like Kevin Thorne's younger brother.
Right.
No, okay, I tried. It'll be interesting. Maybe they just put him in a new tag team. One thing I will say,
No, they said singles competitor.
he's
like,
going to be a singles competitor.
That's
Okay. All right. Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan can wrestle, so that doesn't surprise me that they had the best match of that night.
No, I thought they had the best match of the night. There was another match that was a surprise match that.
Oh, you
That's
mean like
pretty
when,
awesome.
when the Ricochet made an announcement that he was going to have an open title shot for his North American Championship for NXT, and Prince Pretty himself accepted the challenge?
Yep.
A lot of people were expecting that this is maybe the way, because there's been talk that some guys from the main roster who were just not working out in the main roster could eventually end up back in NXT.
I don't think that the problem with him is he's not working out. His partner's been on the shelf for a half year,
But
and he's just making his way back now. It's like there's only so many times you can be on the main event, and before everybody's like, oh, who the hell is this guy? Oh wait, we haven't seen him. The last time we saw him, he was on the Fashion Files, and just when it seemed like were getting over with the Fashion Files, the WWE did the thing that they like to do. You're getting over. You know what? We're gonna have you get beat all the time, because that helps people get over. If you lose every time.
I think the last time we saw him, he got his ass kicked by Bobby Lashley in a squash match that lasted like 2 minutes.
Yep.
And then before that, he got his ass kicked by Kevin Owens in a squash match.
So,
Solid match, though. Very solid match. But I'm convinced that the Ricochet could have a 5-star match with a mop.
it was pretty good. Like there were a lot of people that were like super hyping it. When I looked at it, I'm like, oh, yeah, it was good. Like they did a lot of the whole, like, they were all doing the same move at the same time to each other, so they would punch each other at the same time, kick each other at the same time, and
As
it was all right.
as the late great Vader would
Right.
say, it was a choreographed wrestling match.
Right.
Because he said that's what actually set off. I think it was Will Ospreay. When
Yes,
Will
it was.
Ospreay had his match against Ricochet, he actually said that, he goes, "That's not a wrestling match. That was a choreographed acrobatic show."
Yeah. I mean, but in general, like, to me, it was a good match. I just like the tag match better. I mean, they gave them more time than they gave for for the North American title match. The North American title match, it main event, so give it more time.
That's right.
But another match that they had on this is they had like a qualifying for #1 contendership for like they're gonna have a fatal 4-way in a couple of weeks for the women's title, and like what's her name, Mia Yim, went against basically the modern day female version of Stan Hansen. What the heck's her name? Anyway, the match was sloppy. It just wasn't very good. And I always thought that, like, I heard good things about Mia Yim, and it just wasn't good.
Lacey Evans?
No.
Wait, there's a modern version of Stan Hansen. Like this chick actually has like a
She
rope.
has and cowbell.
She has a cowbell and she's got like the
She doesn't have chaw in her
She
mouth.
doesn't have
That's about the only thing that's different. She's like 6 feet tall and like.
I gotta check this broad out. Stan Hansen.
It was not a very good match.
I didn't
Like
say.
honestly, I like watched it and I was like, ugh, it was terrible. And it looked like there were a couple of points where there were edits in there. I'm like, so the match was even worse than what it appeared on camera. So we'll see how that goes.
She had a cowbell and everything. That's the greatest thing ever.
She had a cowbell.
Stan Valeria Hansen. WWE Hall of Famer Stan Hansen.
Oh, they even pointed that out. I don't think it was Percy Watson though.
Okay.
I want to say it might have been Nigel. Anyway.
Interesting. Who ended up winning though? Was it Mia?
Yeah.
So Mia Yim who's been there for like a cup of coffee, is already going to get a title shot in a fatal 4-way.
No, it's not a title shot. It's a #1 contender match.
So it'll be a fatal 4-way to determine who's going to fight
Shayna Baszler.
Shayna Baszler.
Yeah. And
Interesting tidbit. I did not know Shayna Baszler was 38 years old.
but beyond that, Lacey Evans is already in that fatal 4-way, and Bianca Belair is the other one, and they're going to have the final match for the last slot next week. I think it's next week. But one thing they did announce for this week's NXT is we're going to have a cage match between Aleister Black and Johnny frickin' Wrestling.
I think we both know who's going to be fully invested watching that match.
Yeah, he's going to be in Dave Meltzer pose. And, yeah, Johnny Wrestling.
Johnny Wrestling. Ah, I'm
Uh,
done.
Johnny Wrestling, you know, he goes out there and puts on a show, but like literally they came out and had Aleister Black and Tommaso Ciampa
What's up, Tommy?
more or less jaw-jacking each other, and you know it's weird because Aleister Black beat Johnny Wrestling clean, and it's like, you move on, you move to the next match. But I think what they're trying to do is set up for when they have
threat match.
a triple threat
For the
match
title.
and have that at TakeOver the weekend of the Rumble.
I hope so. Excuse me. Sorry.
Just put it in front of you. You keep on
Yeah.
reaching around. Reach around.
I also wasn't expecting to freaking hack up like Stan Hansen. I hope Tommaso Ciampa never loses the NXT title. He has just been spectacular as the NXT champion. He's exceeded my expectations. Of course, I had my opinions on him based solely on a F and Marks Hall of Famer opinion on him because of an experience that he had with him. We're not going to go into that. But obviously, Ciampa has just been spectacular. Ciampa's been my favorite NXT champion. And I'm not even afraid to admit that. And that says a lot because I love Nakamura when he was NXT champion, and I love Finn Balor when he was NXT champion. But Ciampa has just been, because he's just been a dick. That's all he's been doing. He's just been a dick. He's been an asshole. I'm just waiting for the time that somebody actually does better than him on a promo inside the ring, and then he threatens to kill him.
Right.
Not like he's ever done that before.
Yeah.
So I also agree that the next NXT TakeOver, which will probably end up happening around the Royal Rumble.
Well, it is.
Oh yeah, obviously
It's-
the Royal Rumble. Yeah, way to go.
I believe it's TakeOver Phoenix.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. And those three, that's gonna be a good match.
So they're definitely building towards that. We also had on NXT this week, Bobby Fish had a match against EC3. And I don't know if they're building towards something here because at the end, the Undisputed Era ended up, beating the crap out of EC3, who got like a roll-up victory. And guess who came to his aid? Heavy Machinery, baby. And you know who was the champion of this segment? Otis Dosovich's belt. His pants looked like they were ready to just fall off. And it was just fantastic. Like, you know, he's doing his Otis Dosovich thing. Mind you, both he and his partner came out without, they weren't in singlets. They were in jeans and they had their shirts off. So, that's great. I love Otis Dosovich.
We got to come up with a nickname for him. Something that has to do with like meatball, like the maniacal meatball or some shit. Like I'll come up with something.
That's pretty good.
I'll come up with something.
I mean,
he's not really maniacal.
It's not Dr. Denny.
No, he's not Dr. Denny's like our boy Cassius.
No. We're not even going to call him Cassius Ono. He's just Dr. Denny's.
He's still a fat piece of shit.
Yeah, but we're just going to call him Dr. Denny's. That's his new brand, Dr. Denny's.
I'm gonna kind of treat it like when they like they used to have like the all the nicknames to go with it, like the bruiser of buffets, the crusher of KFC.
Yeah, it's like Apollo Creed, right?
Yeah.
Have like 20 nicknames.
Yeah, that's what I want to do with Cassius Ono, and then call him Dr. Denny's.
Right.
And just have all these nicknames with it.
Right.
It did set up for the fact that Heavy Machinery will now be getting a tag team title shot against the Undisputed Era. I think this is going to end up culminating in them having like another 4-on-4 match, probably Heavy Machinery and EC3, and who knows who the fourth person could be. I mean, it could be just about anybody that isn't Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano, or Tommaso Ciampa, or even the Ricochet. But I think what's ultimately going to happen is that will be EC3's last night on NXT, and he will debut on the main roster the next night at the Royal Rumble.
Interesting.
I will reconfirm that
Sure.
prediction, once we get closer to the Royal Rumble. But I don't think there's really much.
You don't need to reconfirm. You've already said it, man.
Or just to remind everybody that that's the prediction I made.
Sure.
Ooh, I thought of something else. I hate to go back to something, but the whole Vince McMahon shake things up. I think I have another thought on that. What if Lars Sullivan is the guy that helps shake up Monday Night Raw?
Well, you know what? Those vignettes that they've been having lately are freaking awesome for him. The one that they had this past week was great. I don't know. It could be interesting what they do with him. Like, I almost feel like he has to be on SmackDown, though, because technically Raw has a monster already.
Yeah, but then we can't. If he's on SmackDown, the chances of us getting the monster versus the monster in a clash.
Yeah, but you don't
in the
want to
monster
have
match.
that anytime soon, because like you put Lars Sullivan, who you're trying to project as a monster, you put him next to Braun Strowman. He doesn't look that big. I mean, he's a big dude, but he's not 6'8", 380 pounds.
True.
So you don't want to do that right away. You need to build him up. So like the audiences don't know like who he is. Yeah, people who watch NXT will know who he is. But even with that, he hasn't been on NXT TV like on a regular basis in a while because he got injured.
Yeah.
He had like one match a couple of weeks ago. But other than that, he's been off of TV since he lost at TakeOver.
Pretty much.
At this point, 4 or 5 months back. I think it was the SummerSlam weekend. It was a while ago. So, they have to build an audience. They have to build his character. And I mean, they've been doing a great job with the vignettes. But you keep him away for a long time from Braun Strowman. He needs to kick everybody's ass for a while.
I hope they do exactly what they did when he first debuted on NXT. Put him in the tag team again with the piece of shit guy. And, he overpowers the tag team getting in the ring, and then his partner comes in, gets the shit kicked out of him, and then gets pinned, and then Lars Sullivan beats the shit out of him. After if they do that, that would be better than what they did with the Ryback, and everybody knows I love the Ryback.
Right.
I miss the Ryback.
Yes. Yeah. So Lars Sullivan,
it's
maybe
possible.
he is part of Vince's shaking things up.
And it's possible.
Right.
Should we make our major announcement since he has popped back in?
If you want to.
So we decided that because of the fact that the WWE is a major joke, because they didn't put, there's been a lot of omissions from their Hall of Fame, i.e. Vader, Rick Martel, obviously for Demolition, obviously for legal purposes, Owen Hart. And it took them forever to put Ravishing Rick Rude and Macho Man Randy Savage into the Hall of Fame. And so we decided we were going to do...
Not Coco Beware.
Right, not Coco Beware. But anyway, so we decided we were going to do an F and Marks Hall of Fame. So our first inductee into the F and Marks Hall of Fame was the GOAT himself, Billy D. Williams, Lando Calrissian. And then after that, we had put in, obviously, Curtis Axel, because he's been the focal point of the podcast since day one as H. We also put in Vader. We also put in the ticking time bomb himself, Sean O. And I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Yeah, our newest inductee.
Really? That's it? We got 6?
5. Numbers are not your strong suit, my friend.
Hey, I'm brainless. So our 5th inductee, we decided what we were going to do is we were going to put in a follower into our Hall of Fame. And we had a lot of people up for consideration to join the F and Marks Podcast Hall of Fame. As
Just blurt it out, damn it.
And it's all about dramatic. It's all about this stuff and, you know.
Yeah, but I have places to be.
So anyway, after a lot of time and deliberation, it probably took us about 12 seconds. Just kidding. We decided that our follower Hall of Famer was just too much of a slam dunk decision to make. So, Tommy Nicholas, congratulations. You are now the 5th and final member of the F and Marks Podcast inaugural Hall of Fame class. You deserve it. You deserve it.
Really?
I mean, you've been a follower since day one. You really have.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got longevity. You're basically in like 110 episodes. You've viewed at least 105 or 106 of them, which is incredible. Because
I think you even listened to some of the audio ones.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not a slight towards Jimmy or Don't Eat the Brown Snow, but I mean, Tommy, I got to give it to you, man. I mean, dedication, loyalty, and the fact that you still continue to bring up the fact that Hornswoggle has been in the Royal Rumble longer than Curtis Axel.
He's not alive in the Royal Rumble. We have a picture back there that says that. It says that.
I'm just saying, I mean, other than that, I mean, everything else, I mean, you deserve it. So we're giving you 2 weeks because when we do our Hall of Fame induction episode / Mark-out award show, you have to give a speech. So,
Right?
No, he's not going to be inducted into our Hall of Fame. No. There's like 109 other people that are going to be slam dunk Hall of Famers before he's even considered a possibility for the induction.
So you're saying in like 20 years?
Yeah, pretty much. When we're still doing this podcast. When we're as big as the Sala Monster.
Right.
Yeah. So congratulations, Tommy. You got 2 weeks to come up with an induction speech. I'm just as excited for yours as I am for the one that Sean O has to give for his.
Right.
You know Sean O, right?
No.
No, okay. There's gonna be a lot of trash bagging and
Yeah. Good times, man.
it made somebody's day. I love that. So, do you want to do the TLC predictions or do you want to do the good, the bad, and the brainless? I mean, you already gave your good. What was your good again? I'm sorry, I forget.
Wait.
What was your good again?
You want to know what my good was?
I forgot what it was.
Seth Rollins this week on Raw, telling the truth.
Monday Night Raw has sucked. Monday Night Raw has sucked. Monday Night Raw has sucked.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, shit. We just like it just tismed.
Yeah,
Our
yeah.
audio app just tismed. You know what my good for this week is? The fact that Tyler Breeze accepted the Ricochet's challenge for the North American Championship because
Right.
nobody was expecting it. It was something that like, and I love surprises. Every once in a while, when they give you a surprise, it's good. You know, like the one thing that got ruined by ruined professional wrestling to me has been social media. Because you can't do like wrestlers can't do anything anymore without being the surprise. Like when
Unless you're Chris Jericho.
you know, Chris Jericho would be spotted at an airport, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Chris Jericho's here."
People don't know what Jericho's doing anytime now.
I don't even think Jericho knows what Jericho's doing anytime now,
I
Except
don't even
maybe
think he
his-
tells his wife.
except maybe his wife. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. No, I'd smash. His wife is hot.
She is.
I'm sure he, like you said, he probably smashes other women while he's on the road.
And
God,
she's probably like, they probably have some sort of, like,
Jericho would
do that. You could do that on the road, and you just need to be home to be a father.
Yeah, he still smashes his wife though. Kudos. He wins at life too, just like the Miz.
Right.
Nobody wins at life more than the Miz does though. Main event of WrestleMania, Grand Slam champion, arguably go down as the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time. Married to a 10. Hell no, he's married to an 11.
Right.
But yeah. So what's your bad for this week?
As funny as it was for Seth Rollins to say all those things, it was a long promo that they could have wrapped up within 5 minutes, but it was closer to 15 to 20 minutes, which ended up culminating in Seth Rollins having a TLC match with Baron Corbin this week on Raw, which, hey, it was fine. Seth Rollins can carry people to good matches.
Yes. That was my bad too. My bad was the fact that they actually had a TLC match between Baron Corbin and Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental title 6 days before the TLC pay-per-view. Now, if they had done like, you know, what they did with the Money in the Bank, like the Raw, the SmackDown before that, and they have all the competitors sitting on the ladders in the middle of the ring and they cut their promos and everything, that's fine. Don't give me a fucking gimmicky match that's based solely on the pay-per-view you're going to have 6 days later. So that right there, that's my bad.
And you know what always drives me nuts about like the TLC pay-per-view in particular? They'll set up stipulations for the matches. All right, I get it. Like, hey, for the TLC, all right, you got to grab the title, or also you have to grab the guitar. But why is it that if you're having a tables match, that you couldn't take out a ladder and jump off the ladder onto the person on the table? Like, there's supposed to be no DQ matches. You should be able to use any damn thing you want. You could use the stairs. That's a great tool to use. I mean, and the other thing is, it's supposed to be the TLC pay-per-view. There's not a lot of TLC here. Like there just isn't. So they have 12 matches here.
There's not a lot of tender loving care on the card, is what you're saying.
Well, you know, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles. That's supposed to be like the top title that is being defended here. It's a regular match. I mean, they're both great. They are both great.
Well,
They will put on a great match. But why do you have a gimmick pay-per-view and you do not have your top title having one of those gimmicks?
well,
Why not? I think, honestly, that the ladies' triple threat match is going to headline the show.
right out of my mouth.
But even so,
I'm so fully vested for that match too. I am so fully vested for that match. I haven't been this excited for a women's match since Ronda Rousey's debut at WrestleMania.
that was a mixed match.
But it was still women involved in the match, and it was Ronda Rousey's debut. Okay, I haven't been this excited for a women's match since they had the triple threat at WrestleMania when it was Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte for the women's title. Is that better?
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the premier match. That is going to it should main event tomorrow night. because number one, it is a TLC match for the women's title, first ever women's TLC match. Arguably, it's got the best buildup of any match this weekend.
If it wasn't for some snafus along the way, it would have been the Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins. I mean, those two guys are on the damn poster. It's like, you would think that, all right, they've got them on the poster, they're going to headline the show, but I don't think they are. I don't know where they're going to put them on the card, but honestly, that it might be a good idea for them to start the show with that. If they're not going to be on last, put them on first.
Oh, so do the Reed Bobby thing. If you're not first, you're last.
Exactly.
There you go. I agree with you, and that's actually going to be my brainless for this week, is the fact that you do have, and it's usually this pay-per-view and fucking Extreme Rules are the two that fucking trigger me the most. You're going to have a pay-per-view called TLC. When you do a TLC pay-per-view, if you're not going to have every match be gimmicky like they've done in the past, they've done TLC pay-per-views where everything was either a stairs match or a chairs match or a ladder match or a tables match and then a TLC match on top of it's usually the main event, which is what is going to be the women's match. You're giving Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton the chairs match. You're giving the tables match to Ruby Riott and Natty Neidhart, which is going to end up being on the pre-show. Your ladder match is going to be Elias versus Bobby Lashley, and you're going to hang a guitar. Did Vince Russo call in and say, this would be a great idea for a match? Shut up, Vince Russo. You killed Owen Hart. I'm never going to let that go. I will never let that go.
Right.
Just ask Bugsby. I still haven't forgiven him for eating my sandwich.
Right.
But I think there should be more gimmicky matches. There should be more, there should be multiple. Like, each show should have a chairs match. Each show should have a tables match. Each show should have a ladder match. And each show should have a TLC-based match. Like, Rollins and Ambrose should be a TLC match.
And what they should do is cut down the number of matches to give these matches the time they deserve.
12 fucking matches? What are 4 of them going to be on the pre-show? I know that these pay-per-views are 4 hours long, but goddamn, there's going to be at least one squash match.
Well, if Braun Strowman is healthy enough for them to have him compete, it's going to be a squash match.
And that's a TLC match too. You don't even have one of your championship matches on Raw, and it just goes back to what Seth Rollins said. Monday Night Raw sucks, and you're gonna treat the Monday Night Raw card like it sucks at the TLC pay-per-view. You have your TLC matches between your interim general manager and a guy who may or may not show up tomorrow. Your fucking Your tables match is going to be on the pre-show between Ruby Riott and Natty Neidhart. Although I'm not completely against it because Ruby Riott and fucking Natty have both been killing this rivalry, absolutely killing it. And the fact that Ruby Riott came out with the fucking table and had the anvil on, oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm like, god damn, I'm like, you guys are doing good. And Ruby Riott's a fucking star in the making, but we're not going to get into that. Your Intercontinental Championship, which is your biggest singles title, it's not a gimmicky match, right? It's not a gimmicky match. That should be at least a ladders match. Not hang a fucking guitar from the fucking rafters and have Elias and Bobby Lashley. And I really hope that fucking Elias grabs that goddamn guitar and blasts fucking Leo Rush in the fucking face with it. I don't even care if you're not supposed to take shots to the head anymore. He's like I've said it before, he's a fucking mosquito at a barbecue. I just spit all over myself. See, I'm getting fired up. Now I'm getting fired up. Okay? This is what pisses me off. This is typical WWE booking. It's WWE booking, but it is what it is. But whatever. Okay, first of all, why is it... it's bad enough your Universal title's not on the line because you have a fucking guy that just shows up whenever the fuck he feels like showing up.
That was Vince's call. They
That
had
was
the title
Vince's-
off him.
I know they did. And they could have put it on the Monster Among, obviously not.
I'm wondering if they
with the
knew
elbow.
that his
Yeah.
elbow was effed up, and that's why
That's
they made
possible.
that call.
So then they could have put Drew McIntyre
They could
in
have.
the fucking match, and he could have won the title because I know they want to do that. They want to put the title on him, and I'm
I'm invested in that.
I'm fully 100% behind them.
Will you
putting the
watch
title on.
Raw again if he becomes a champion.
You want to know how they can bring me back to Raw? You really want to know how they can bring me back to Raw?
Vince McMahon on Monday.
Bring back Bray Wyatt.
He keeps on saying that in tweets like, I have finally taken my natural form.
He's going to come back as Husky Harris?
No, he's going to come back as IRS 2.
So he's going to start collecting people's taxes?
Yes, he
That's
is.
fantastic.
And he's going to be the Secretary of Treasury, actually, for the Trump administration.
There you go.
Yeah, it's going to be
Who,
great.
him or his dad?
No, he is.
Oh, it should be
His dad is going to be like, he'll just be an advisor.
another guy who should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way. Like
Absolutely.
Rotundo. Another thing about this card that pisses me off. Where's your United States champion? When was the last time Nakamura defended his United States title on a pay-per-view? Was the last time he defended the title? Was it at the fucking? It wasn't even at the fucking Australian show. Did he defend it in Saudi Arabia?
I think he maybe. I honestly don't remember. But you can't defend every title on the. Look at how many championship
there's 6
matches.
title matches.
there.
Yes, I get it. There's 6 title matches, but
You can't
you're also
defend them
making
all.
you're also making a joke of the U.S. title, where you say that when a champion loses a non-title match cleanly, that pisses you off.
It does piss me off.
Because it takes away from the prestige and like what that title means when you have that champion lose. But the fact is, you have a United States champion who competes each and every week, and he's not another pay-per-view where Nakamura's not winning the title.
Right now, this like the
They're treating
Dean Ambrose U.S. title run, where he had the longest title run ever, but he defended it like twice, maybe on TV.
The biggest match that Nakamura has had since he won the United States Championship
He went
was
against
when he
Rusev.
fought Rey Mysterio at the 1000th episode of SmackDown Live in a non-title match, and he lost clean. I give that one the benefit of that
I don't.
because it's Rey Mysterio and it's a new
I
champ.
don't. I mean, you know me. I don't care who it is. You shouldn't lose.
What if Thunder Lips fought the United States champion and beat him clean?
That'd be wrong too.
What are you talking about? He's 7 foot tall, 400 pounds.
It doesn't matter.
He's the. I'm having a brain fart right now. Okay. The ultimate male. The ultimate male. He's Thunder Lips. He's champion. So I mean that's yeah. It's all covered. And lastly, the one thing about this that really pisses me off: where the fuck is the stairs match?
Eric Rowan took it with him to injury.
That was the worst fucking. That was one of the worst gimmicky matches, and I actually want to dedicate an entire episode to like the shittiest gimmick matches: the stairs match, the dog kennel from hell match, the Punjabi prison.
Punjabi person match is great.
Good and terrible.
It's great.
The Inferno matches.
Mm.
But that's for another day. But that's my brainless is this pay-per-view being as gimmicky as it is. And don't get me wrong, 2 matches in this card that really make me happy that they're on the card are Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight Championship, because now the Cruiserweights are getting matches on pay-per-views when they were just an afterthought. Nobody gave a shit. Now that Buddy Murphy's the Cruiserweight Champion and he's having these great matches, people are now vested in the Cruiserweight division. The other match that has a lot of it has some major implications in it is the finals for the Mixed Match Challenge, as Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox go up against the team of R-Truth and Carmella, and the winning team, they become number 30 in the Royal Rumble, respectively. And I just love the fact that R-Truth is in a pay-per-view for the first time in like forever.
Right. So kind of talking about brainless stuff. Authors of Pain this week.
Oh God, I didn't want to bring it up.
Authors of Pain this week. They lost their titles, and I don't know why they set up the match the way they did. Back in the day, I understood when Demolition went against the Powers of Pain and Mr. Fuji. Because Mr. Fuji was their manager and kept on costing, like, he would get involved and cause problems, and the matches. So what did they do? They had them in a 3-on-2 handicap match, and you know, Powers of Pain then had Mr. Fuji as their manager, and Mr. Fuji ate the pinfall. But the whole thing was, it was for Demolition a blood feud to get back at Mr. Fuji for what he had done to them, stabbing them in the back and so on and so forth. To me, that there wasn't anything there that required Drake Maverick to be in this damn match.
Other than the fact that he peed on Bobby Roode's robe.
But like, does he need to be in the match? Like, why are you trying to build these guys up as a monster tag team only to have their
That little leprechaun good luck charm.
be a part of the match and you know
I should have made that my brain.
that was so stupid. Like, I love Gable, I love Bobby Roode, but not like that. Not like that. You put the titles on these people, you know, in not the greatest way. You know, it was a 1-on-2 handicap match, and then you have them lose the fucking titles in a 3-on-2 handicap match. What the fuck?
Well, it was
Literally, this was like the.
It was a 2.5-on-2 handicap match.
But it just fucking retarded. Really just stupid. I didn't like this at all. Authors of Pain deserve better. Authors of Pain against the Revival would have been awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I didn't want to bring it up because if I didn't bring it up, then it didn't happen. But I saw that it happened, and I've been on this boycott now. I saw that happened. I almost threw my phone across the room because I'm like, no. You could have done so much better with the fucking Authors of Pain, and you just completely butt fucked the shit out of it.
right. One thing I do want to bring up, though, this is going to be my honorable mention for good. Not that it was a great thing, but during SmackDown this week.
Oh, SmackDown's always been fantastic.
They had a quote-unquote rap battle that was supposed to be the Bar against the Usos, and the Bar versus the Bar were the ones who called for the rap battle.
My God, that should have been my good.
The crowd in Vegas this week sucked dick. It really did. They weren't getting into it. I thought the Usos had a pretty good rap that they had.
Usos were fantastic.
You know what my favorite thing was for this segment? And it was a subtle little thing. They didn't mention it, but Kofi and Xavier fucking Woods. New Day were like the MCs of the rap battle. I don't know if you noticed the color of their suits that they were wearing for this thing, but it just harkened back to one of my favorite movies. And
Just when I think you couldn't possibly
Yeah,
be
I did
any
remember that. I
dumber,
noticed that.
you go and do something like this.
And
Totally redeem yourself!
if you look at their outfits, they wore the same color. Well, they had suits as the tuxedos that Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels ended up wearing in Dumb and Dumber when they were at the, what was it? Hey, this is a 10,000 plate dinner. Oh,
here,
here's 40,000. We might want
just
seconds.
in case we want seconds. My thing that I noticed was when the Bar dressed up like the Beastie Boys. They were dressed up like the Beastie Boys, and they sang their version of Ice Ice Baby to theirs to be in the Bar and dissing the Usos. So that kind of just that got me because number one, the Beastie Boys are like gods to me. I fucking love the Beastie Boys. They're my favorite band of all time, if you want to call them a band or group or whatever. And they sang Ice Ice Baby, which is probably or arguably one of the greatest one-hit wonder songs of all time.
Vanilla Ice had multiple hits.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Go Ninja, go Ninja,
No, he did his own version of Play That Funky Music. White Boy. And it.
Because that's what he
That
does.
was a hit.
He
That was a hit, too.
songs.
It wasn't Ice Ice Baby level, but it was a hit. You know, just
Right,
like
stop.
a lot of people,
Collaborate and listen.
a lot of people would. I don't know. I think a lot of people probably think MC Hammer had one hit. He had a whole bunch of hits.
Too legit to quit.
He
MC
had,
Hammer
like-
had a pretty substantial career in my book.
MC Hammer had probably like 4 or 5 hits on one album.
Yeah.
Then he had, you know, Too Legit to Quit, and he had what the hell you call it? He had a song on the Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yeah, he
Turtles
did.
movie that did pretty well too. But like,
Not like Bobby Brown on Ghostbusters.
that was a hit.
It was a hit.
But Bobby Brown also had like 15 other hits.
Yes, he did. Oh, you're right. You're right. The greatest one-hit wonder song of all time, Mambo Number 5. Don't at me, bro.
Dude,
Or Tub Thumping.
Walking on Sunshine's another good one for anybody who was alive then.
Or Steal My Sunshine by Len. the Macarena.
Yeah.
All right, so it's time for some predictions.
Right.
So,
All right. So, start at the bottom of the list here, maybe. Baron Corbin, Braun Strowman.
I got a crazy prediction for this one.
All right.
Braun doesn't make it. Who ends up taking his place? It's going to be one of two people. Kurt Angle or Bray Wyatt.
Interesting.
I think that's what's going to ultimately happen because I don't think Braun Strowman's going to be healthy enough to compete tomorrow. And if that's their... I think logically wise, it's going to end up being Kurt Angle because it makes more sense storyline wise. But what a way for fucking Bray Wyatt to come back. So-
Yeah. I mean, having, you know, Papa Wyatt take over for him.
So
Interesting.
that's my prediction. If I have to go with like if Braun is actually able to compete tomorrow, Braun Strowman's winning. Either way, Corbin's not winning tomorrow. That's all I'm going to put down is Corbin will not win his match tomorrow night.
All right.
I'm going to go with Kurt Angle actually takes Braun Strowman's place and wins the match because he's a GOAT.
Right.
You know what else Kurt Angle has?
He has a gold medal too.
He won.
That he won it with a broken freaking neck.
Fucking neck, yes.
I have a feeling we're going to see Braun Strowman. I think he's going to win a 10-second match. That's what I'm going with. But I do like your predictions. I think that'd be more interesting than so.
I'm not to say that I wouldn't be happy to see Braun Strowman just basically throw
Gronk spike him, man.
Gronk spike him.
Yeah.
Gronk spiked the former football player.
Sure.
Good.
All right. Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio in a chairs match. Now, like on SmackDown this week, we had Rey finally getting one over on Orton.
When he attacked him with the chair after the match.
And usually that means that the other person is going to win. Usually.
Yeah, I mean, we've only been watching for God no one knows how long, so that's what we're used to. The person who gets the last laugh before the match does not.
All right,
the
what's your
hardest.
prediction?
This is a tough one. I love Mysterio. I really
Honestly,
do.
I don't think either of them get hurt by a loss here. Because they're both
I-
legends.
I think
They're both legends.
I think if there was somebody who does take a little bit more of a loss here, hurt loss wise, it'd be Randy Orton. Rey Mysterio could overcome a loss to Randy Orton at this juncture than Randy Orton losing to Rey Mysterio. So with that being said, I'm going Rey Mysterio. I don't know why. That's what my brain tells me.
You don't have a brain.
Allegedly.
No, you've told me many
Fine.
times.
That's what my heart says. My heart says that I'm going to go with Rey Mysterio.
All right. Yeah, I almost get the feeling here. I think Mysterio will end up kind of winning in kind of a gimmicky way. Like, yeah, it's just going to be a chairs match, and they're going to beat the hell out of each other with the chairs. I think he's going to win with like a roll up or something along that line, and I think Orton's going to beat the fuck out of him after the match. I think that's the way it's going to go down, personally.
Or Cien Almas comes in and costs Rey Mysterio the match.
That's not a way that Randy Orton should win this.
No.
He's been going in there and trying to kill the superheroes SmackDown for the WWE Universe. So I have a feeling Mysterio wins, but he is not going to. He'll win the battle. He's not going to win the war here. I think Orton beats the fuck out of him after the match.
My prediction, and I'll say it after my title shot prediction.
So, and all right, how about we've got the Bar, New Day, and Usos in triple threat match. Now, they haven't said if this is going to be like tornado rules. They have not said if this is going to be like only two teams in at once. They haven't said it's going to be an elimination match. Maybe we should call Hampton Roads Championship Wrestling and find out. I mean, they'll let us know, after the first pinfall, maybe.
Are you really going to ask me who I think's going to win, or do you already know who I think's going to win?
I know who you think's going to win.
So that's who I think's going to win.
All right. And I actually agree.
Because they didn't just set the bar.
They are the bar.
The goats.
Right. All right. So, it's very uninteresting predictions between the two of us.
Well,
right now.
there's still more matches. Don't worry.
Right.
We can't. I don't think we've ever had a pay-per-view where you and I completely agreed on every match.
Probably not.
And there's like 85 matches on the card tonight, or tomorrow night. So
Right. Numbers and days are not your strong suit today. You've said tonight several times.
yeah,
Have another drink.
maybe I will.
Yeah. All right. So, honestly, I think even though it doesn't have a gimmick with it, it's potential for match of the night too. The Bar, Usos, and New
Oh,
Day,
absolutely.
they have great chemistry. So,
And I wanted that to be a TLC match just because it would have reminded me of the match 17 years ago at WrestleMania 17, where the greatest match in the history of life occurred.
I mean,
That TLC match will forever be my favorite match of all time.
I also, I don't think they would do that to them.
I know it's because of the fact that with Sheamus and the Spinal Stenosis, they don't want to risk him getting too gimmicky in matches. So, like having a basic match, and you're going to put him against two of the best tag teams, and
Well, and he has to be in the match even shorter because it's only,
Yeah.
3 teams as opposed to.
right. So he takes less bumps.
Yeah.
Still holding out hope he wins the Intercontinental title.
I don't know. I have this fleeting thought in the back of my head that this is going to be one of those. It could steal the show, but I have freaking thought in the back of my fucking brain telling me that this
Ambrose
might
and
last like a minute, and that would be a travesty.
It would. For time that it deserves.
I hope so. They deserve it, and it, like I said, could be match of the night. All right, Natty and Ruby Riott in a tables match.
Ruby Riott.
I know that this is probably not the logically, this probably doesn't make a ton of sense. I'm going with Natty.
Okay.
I just have a feeling that there is a lot of. I think there's more juice left to this rivalry, and I think Natty, especially with the whole table that
Yeah.
Ruby Riott had, I think that's going to cause her to destroy, or at least attempt to destroy Ruby Riott.
I think Ruby Riott wins, and Ruby Riott becomes, because of this victory, Ruby Riott becomes the #1 contender for the women's title of Raw.
Cool.
That's my prediction.
Sweet. All right. So Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander.
I know who wins this match. The fans. They're
Right.
going to have a fantastic match if they give them the proper time. And those two can have a good match. Give them like 8 to 10 minutes, and they can have a solid match for the cruiserweight title.
This seems destined for pre-show.
Oh, it's going to be the pre-show main event.
Pre-show stoppers.
Yes, like the Ryback and Kalisto at WrestleMania,
Yes.
which set off the Ryback that got him fired or released or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, he just waited out his contract.
I'm gonna go with Buddy Murphy. He's just been doing an excellent job as cruiserweight champion. I don't see them taking the title off of him right now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Buddy Murphy here, he worked his tail. Well, I mean, Cedric did too, but a couple of years ago, Buddy Murphy worked his tail off really to get to that weight, and those two guys had really been killing it on 205 Live. Another guy who was killing it, who actually had an outstanding appearance for himself on SmackDown, was Mustafa Ali. That was him against Daniel Bryan was a freaking
That was my
great match.
That was my honorable mention for my good this week.
So, yeah, Mustafa Ali, like, you know, they call him the heart and soul of the cruiserweight division, but, you know, he definitely had a great accounting of himself, almost in a similar sense of when you had Cien Almas, you know, going against AJ Styles. Similar thing where it's like going, all right, let's see what this guy can do against somebody who's really good, and did awesome.
Yeah,
So,
agreed.
all right, so then we have Elias and Lashley in a guitar ladder match. So the gimmick for this is that there's going to be a guitar set up over the ring, and it's not like whoever gets the guitar wins the match. It's if you have the guitar, you get to use it as a weapon, and it's pinfall or a submission. I don't think you could get the pinfall or submission until after you get the guitar, but that is one thing that was not clear. So, Elias or Lashley?
I'm going with the Guitar Gladiator.
Okay. As much as I'd like to agree with you, I'm going to go with Lashley because I think
Told you.
Elias does not need the victory as much.
Fuck Bobby Lashley. He sucks. Sorry.
I'm
I'm gonna be like Kurt Warner. Every single pay-per-view, I'm gonna take whoever's going up against Bobby Lashley. Just like Kurt Warner never takes the Giants. Except for like once. He took the Giants like a couple weeks ago and I had a heart attack. I think it was when they were playing the Eagles and he took the Giants over the Eagles and I'm like, is he feeling okay? Like, is Kurt Warner all right? I mean, he hasn't taken the Giants over he hasn't picked the Giants over anybody since it was the only team he flopped.
right.
Did well with the Rams, did well with the Cardinals, couldn't fucking win because everybody saw that his flaws were exploited in New York and couldn't play in the adverse conditions, and he sucked.
Right.
Sorry. But yeah, I'm going with Elias. I was going to go with Elias regardless because I think he's been pretty hot too for Monday Night Raw. He's the only thing watchable on Raw. And I'm not sold. Like, this whole Bobby Lashley run has been kind of flat.
See what happens.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor. I'm excited for this match. As far as like a match goes, but I just feel bad for Finn Balor. I think he deserves like a better spot in the hierarchy. But I have a feeling that he is going to lose to the man formerly known as the Chosen One.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
Finn Balor wins, but you give the hockey assist to Dolph Ziggler.
Okay, I could see that.
That's my opinion, or my guess on that.
All right.
The
So
hockey assist. You like that, don't you?
it's good.
The hockey assist.
I should play the brass bonanza. Because that means somebody scored a goal, baby.
Right.
Yeah, I could see where that could happen in this match.
I love the fact that after you said that, we really the predictions have been just kind of stale. Then it's like we differentiated on like 3 of the last 4 matches.
Right.
And I told you that was going to happen. You and I have never fully agreed on any pay-per-view together. I don't think I've ever agreed with anybody completely on a pay-per-view, except for like Vince McMahon when I went perfect that one time.
Right.
This coming from a guy who at WrestleMania 17 did the predictions with all of his friends and picked Duke the Dumpster Droese to win the Gimmick Battle Royal.
Bad gimmick.
I was the only human being on the planet to pick Duke the Dumpster Droese to win that match, too. He was the second longest shot on the board after the Repo Man.
You didn't think Jim Cornette was a bigger reach than Brother Love?
There was a thought that the Brother Love could have won that shit because they were in Houston. But that was before I realized that they didn't give the hometown victories to the people. But then again, I mean, Hillbilly Jim was the favorite to win it. And then they had the Iron Sheik win it because he couldn't take a fucking bump. And then fucking Slaughter comes in there, puts him in the fucking Cobra Clutch, and I was like, that is so fucking stupid. I hated that. Duke the Dumpster Droese should have won that match.
He sucks.
I know he does, but that's besides the point. He's the garbage man.
Literally.
Bobby Heenan
Trash.
mentioned it after he got eliminated. The garbage man got eliminated. The garbage man.
Yep.
Dwight the Clown should have won that one, but we'll get into that. I'm going to dedicate an episode of the podcast to where WWE is completely fucked up. But we have to clear like 9.5 hours for me to bring up every time WWE is ever fucked up. Or it's just going to be like a 12 episode miniseries.
Right.
That's going to be fun because we're going to bring so many people in for that too. Because Corey will be like, the Montreal screw job. And Jeff would be like, well, if Anthony, they didn't give Johnny Gargano the NXT championship. And then there's going to be, I think that they fucked up, man, is when they didn't put Bret Hart as the champion and elevated him up to the point where he was the main event guy all the time. They should have never let him go to WCW, man. That Montreal screw job, because Corey said it was the worst thing that's ever happened in professional wrestling, is the worst thing that's ever happened in professional wrestling, man. Jim Cornette is the god, man. I'm going to do it every episode. I'm going to talk like him every episode.
The thing with episodes like that, you have to prepare, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
That is not your strong suit.
I know.
That is not your strong suit.
I remember when we did the conspiracy theory episode, and I basically was pulling shit out of my ass, and I went to pull out a theory, and I pulled out my colon. No? Come on! That one was funny. I went to pull conspiracy theories out of my ass, and I pulled out my colon. Never mind. I give up. Okay.
Terrible. There was no good there. It was just terrible. 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 I should get Barkley saying terrible.
Terrible. That's just horrible.
Yeah. All right. So R-Truth and Carmella versus Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox.
I know who I think's going to win it, but I'm going to go with something completely different. I want to see R-Truth win it. So I'm going to go with R-Truth and Carmella. Just because I love R-Truth. Future WWE Hall of Famer R-Truth.
I think I'm going to agree with you there.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. They've been entertaining as heck, coming out and just doing the random dance breaks. They did it during the rap battle.
Yeah.
All right. You know?
I love R-Truth. R-Truth for president.
Yes. All right. So Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental title.
Ambrose.
All right.
Even though they've completely butt-fucked this entire freaking heel run for Dean Ambrose so far. I don't like this whole germaphobe thing, and I know I made it either my bad or my brainless last week. I'm pretty sure I made it my brainless last week. But this whole germaphobe thing, or he's coming out with the freaking mask and he's trying to be Bane. I'm sorry, no. He's basically doing exactly what Sting did in TNA when Sting was trying to be like the Joker. So, you know, the whole super villain gimmick-y storylines are not that good. You know, like when Rey Mysterio comes out dressed up like Captain America or the Flash or the Joker or whatever, yeah, that's cool. Because all he's doing is just using that towards his attire. He's not trying to be those people. I don't like this heel turn so far. I was so fully vested for it because I wanted to see Dean make a single lead, just screwed the pooch on it.
I'm not against the whole, germaphobe thing. It's something. I mean,
It is
to me,
something,
the
right?
thing that it still drives me nuts. I bring it up every week. Renee Young, your husband. They brought it up several times on TV. She either needs to join him, or she needs to they need to stop bringing it up.
I don't know what my husband's doing. Yeah, you know what he's
You
doing.
have the worst worst marriage ever. That.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I know, and I know it's the land of make believe, but fucking A, man. If you're breaking down the fourth wall, at least put it into the damn storyline. And again, they've hinted at it, but they haven't done anything with it. If Renee Young tomorrow night ends up being the reason that Seth Rollins loses, fucking great.
Yeah, that'd be
It will
awesome.
make sense.
It'll be my good for next week.
So I agree. I'm going to say Dean Ambrose wins this match because I think right now, I think the plan is get the title off Rollins, and
For us to
maybe
maybe
Rollins
lose,
wins
so.
the Royal Rumble and goes against Brock Lesnar.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what I see. Dean Ambrose is going to use some, I think, shenanigans here to, and I don't know if it's necessarily going to be Renee, but he's going to do something to win this.
Do you think after he wins the Intercontinental title, he brings it to the commentator table and bangs Renee Young in front of everybody? 'Cause
No.
that would make up for the heel turn being so fucking dull.
No, I don't see that happening. They wouldn't even let Edge officially have sex on TV.
But he did have sex on TV.
And that's when they were not PG.
Right.
All right, your favorite match of the night: Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax.
Ronda Rousey. Not only does Ronda Rousey win, she breaks her fucking neck. Nia Jax is.
I am you know what? I get the feeling, and this will be the greatest thing of the night. This is going to probably make this like. This might be your mark out moment of the year. I am going to predict Ronda Rousey squashes Nia Jax in like 10 seconds and like puts on like the fucking arm breaker and she gives up immediately. That crowd is gonna fucking erupt because they fucking hate that bitch. That's what I'm going with.
It's gonna.
That's what I'm going
hold on.
with.
I was gonna say it's gonna be hard for that to surpass Daniel Bryan coming out of retirement and wrestling at WrestleMania this year.
I know how much you hate Nia Jax.
I do.
We have several rants.
If she now if Ronda Rousey actually breaks Nia Jax's arm or her leg or her ankle or her neck or her face, yes, that'll be my mark out moment of the year.
Neck.
Like if
Really?
she ends Nia Jax's career, that'll be my mark out moment of my life. Right after 2004, October 27th of 2004 to be exact. It'll be better than looking at Tom Gordon staring down David Ortiz, looking like a deer in headlights.
Right.
It'll be better than
Literally, I think it was like an hour ago you said, I don't wish harm on anybody.
Oh, fuck that. It's Nia Jax. All bets are off. No, horrible things like I don't wish like sickness or stuff.
You wished a broken freaking neck on her.
Yeah, well, Kurt Angle won an Olympic gold medal with a broken fucking neck. Not like a broken neck is the worst thing in the world. I don't want her to die. I just want her career to be over because that's the only way you're going to get her to stop hurting people.
Come on, they're trying to simplify her moveset.
Fuck that bitch. Bitch talking about fuck me? Fuck that bitch. Fuck Nia Jax. Not in a good way either.
All right. The new Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles.
I fucking love the new Daniel Bryan. I really do. This
He's
better
knocked
than-
it out of the park.
He's doing better with this heel run than he did with his first one when he was WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and then had his
Team Hell No.
even better than Team Hell No. He's on another level, and this is exactly
What
what
he
he
needed.
needed. He needed it because he didn't want the Yes thing to get super stale, and he's just been killing it. And it's kind of like with the whole Hulk Hogan with the Real American bullshit getting fucking the Hulkamania thing just getting dull and boring, and then now he's Hollywood Hogan and extended his career. I think it could be the same thing with Daniel Bryan. Not like the whole Yes movement was stale and boring, but they prevented it from actually getting to that point.
Yeah, the thing was, when he came back, I just assumed that Daniel Bryan was, for the rest of his career, was going to be like freaking Ricky Steamboat, where it's like, you can't turn him heel. You can't after what he's been through. And, you know, they figured out a way to make it work and make it awesome. And apparently Daniel Bryan had been actually pushing to become a heel for a while because, he knew, like, he saw the tea leaves changing, and he's like, you know what? No, I need to change up what I'm doing because I'm not evolving enough, and I'm glad to be wrong about that because this has been one of the bright spots as far as characters go. Now, Jim Ross in the last couple of weeks has talked about, like, you know, if you're a casual fan, you tune in every once a month, once every few weeks. There have been so many turns lately that it's like, what the fuck's going on? Like, you don't know what the story is, and it's like Daniel Bryan's turn has been fantastic.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
there is nothing wrong with that. They've gone too far with, like, Braun Strowman and Big Show. It's like, you fucking kidding me?
Well, the Braun Strowman one, it was kind of like they hit him with the neuralizer, and it's like, oh yeah, he did not turn heel right before SummerSlam.
Stupid.
Fucking idiot.
And they shouldn't have turned him heel then either.
No, I know, I agree.
That was stupid. And I mean, why did they have that team with he and Dolph and Drew if they were just going to get rid of it like 3 weeks later? Like, again, fucking consistency, man.
Yeah,
You know, you need to have at least some level of it. We all knew that Drew and Dolph were going to break up at some point, but it's like, all right, well, if you're putting a new team together, you gotta, especially like three talented people like that, you give them a fucking chance.
Yeah.
They didn't really give them a chance to do much of anything. And I know that, like, character-wise, you know, a bunch of combustible, ego-driven elements, but fucking A, man.
Yeah.
Now, almost as retarded was the fucking bar with Big Show.
Yeah.
You
That was
kidding me?
actually
That
worse.
lasted like.
It
like,
lasted,
hey,
it lasted
we're
a
gonna
normal,
use-
it lasted a normal life expectancy before a heel turn or another turn by the Big Show.
No, but it's like, all right, we're gonna bring back Big Show back on TV. He's gonna help the bar win the title, and then he's gonna go away again.
Great. I hope he's going forever.
He's not. He signed a 3-year deal. He isn't going to be on TV much, but like
It's just
they're
like
going
when-
to have him
Yeah,
at the Royal Rumble. But why do you bring him back in the first place for that? Just have the fucking bar win the title.
Fuck the
They don't need to have the Big Show help him win the title.
big fucking crybaby.
So like stuff like that is kind of been, I think, part of why Raw's been in the crapper. But Daniel Bryan was one of the correct picks for having them switch because
absolutely.
nobody saw it coming. It's great.
You know who gets an honorable mention for that? Elias. Because nobody saw Elias turning. When he was getting that heat with Kevin Owens when they were in Seattle, where Seattle booed them for like 15 minutes straight before they could even say anything. And then like 2 weeks later, he blasted Corbin with the freaking guitar and has now been a solid face for them. And I'm actually excited for this face for him because it's given him more matches. Because like he's basically just gone out there and just done his little concerts and everything. And then he doesn't really wrestle. He had like 3 matches in like 3 months or some shit like that. But now that he's turned face, he's getting more matches and we get to see him perform more. And he can still...
I am still not completely behind the Elias turn. I love Elias, and he is, for me, like one of the more entertaining things on Raw. He is like the reason why I will tune in. Literally, I still will turn off the TV once Elias is off.
Right.
And I just think his character is better as a heel. It's not that he's bad as a face. It's just better as a heel,
Because he's an
in my
asshole.
view. And he's still kind of playing off the asshole thing as a face.
He's just, instead of turning it towards the fans, he's turning it towards his opponents.
So, so still entertaining, still interesting. We'll see what happens with Elias, but you know, there've been a couple of I love Rusev, but the face turn has not helped him, in my view. He just doesn't get the reaction that he did before.
No,
It's almost like Bobby Roode, when people reacted to him in his music, and his character should be a heel.
oh, absolutely.
And I think that's part of the reason why his shtick fell flat when he made the main roster debut. So, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the character is more naturally one way or the other, and unless Ricky Steamboat, everybody turns at some point, and it's what you do
Rey
with the
Mysterio.
turn.
Mysterio hasn't turned either.
I think he turned in WCW for a hot minute.
But in WWE, he's never been a heel.
Right. So Daniel Bryan to me wins this match, and it's a combination of things like his new character really getting over, really like being a freaking dick,
Yeah.
and AJ Styles wanting more time off. AJ Styles negotiating his new contract, and I think Daniel Bryan going into the Royal Rumble as champion is a good idea, and we'll see. Bless you.
Thank you.
Who they come up with for a challenger for him next. But I'm going Daniel Bryan.
Same. You know, it'd be some shit if The Miz helped Daniel Bryan win the title, or keep the title. But I do have my theory. Not only does Daniel Bryan win, but this is going to set up for a rivalry between AJ Styles and Randy Orton.
That would be good.
That would be fantastic. I would kill to see that. So that was my prediction where I said, well, I was going to get back to it later on. Not only does Randy Orton, that's what's going to be Randy Orton's next feud is going to be against AJ Styles because it makes the most sense.
It does.
So I'm going with Daniel Bryan, clean, and what could arguably be the best match of the night.
There are a few matches that definitely could.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that even though there's like 18 matches on this card, there's at least a third of the card that could potentially go down as the best match of the night. We've already discussed the championship match, the tag team title match, and what's going to potentially be the main event could potentially be the best match of the night too.
Yeah, the triple threat: Becky Lynch, Asuka, and Charlotte.
Is that next?
That's the last match.
I'm going to hear you go first. I already know.
Honestly, I could see scenarios where each of them wins.
Agreed.
I think they need to get the title off Becky so they can have the match with Ronda,
I agree.
which to me, I think Becky might have she might not. I don't think she's going to win. Which, between Asuka and Charlotte, if they want to make Charlotte the biggest heel in the company, she'll win. For whatever reason, I get the feeling that my girl Asuka comes out of this match with the title. I don't know why. Her and Charlotte had a fantastic match on SmackDown. But I get the feeling Asuka is going to win this. I don't know why.
Tommy says that he can see Asuka pinning Charlotte.
Well, and it's not a pinning.
Oh,
it's the
it's not a
TLC.
pinning,
They're
it's
going to
TLC.
grab they have to grab the title.
Yeah.
Now, it would be a great visual to have Becky up there, Becky Lynch is the man grabbing the title. I could see that. I really can. But again, if the long term, which I think it is
Becky versus Ronda.
Ronda, you need to
Start building that
probably
soon.
get that going.
Yeah.
I mean, it could come down to, all right, we put Becky in the Royal Rumble, and Becky wins the Royal Rumble, and she chooses what champion she wants to go on against.
That's what Tommy said.
So,
For me, anybody with Charlotte win this match. I'm going to Jesse Varner myself and say that. Anybody but Charlotte win this match. When they announced that there was going to be a triple threat match, and I know that they're building towards the Royal Rumble, with the Royal Rumble that Becky, they want to build Ronda versus Becky for WrestleMania and everything. And the best way to do it is if you have Becky Lynch win the Royal Rumble this year. Although it would be really fucking stupid if you had, because I don't think they're going to do it 2 years in a row where the winner of the Royal Rumble challenge is on one show and challenges the champion on the other show like she did with
I
Charlotte.
don't think it matters. I don't at this point.
So, with that being said, Becky needs to lose the championship. I wouldn't be surprised if Ronda actually helped cause Becky to lose this match.
I don't know. Ronda's a face. I don't see that. Ronda's supposed to be an ass kicker that
But she could still be kind of pissed
do
off.
underhanded shenanigans. It's not like, they've been kind of going after each other on Twitter still, but it hasn't been like a blood feud,
Right.
at least in my view. Like, I don't think there would be a reason for Ronda to come out. I just don't. I don't feel something like that.
Okay.
But that's just me.
Anything's possible. I've seen dumber shit happen.
Kevin Garnett.
KJ.
Uh,
I'm going with Asuka.
all right.
I wanted to go with Asuka on this one. I think that they're going to finally push her and everything, and she deserves that opportunity. I just don't want to see Charlotte win the title again. Because I really don't want to boycott SmackDown like I'm already boycotting Raw.
The thing is, at least Charlotte is a really good performer. She's
Yeah.
a really good character.
Yeah,
It's
she has
just,
the it factor. It's just, I'm sick and tired of her always fucking winning the goddamn title. She's going to have as many title reigns as women's champion as her father before she even turns 40.
well, before she turns like 35.
Yeah, good that. Yeah. Yeah! God damn it. Consarn it. 'Cause
She might have more title reigns than her father next year.
she's gonna have as many title reigns as old as Joe Louis is. 137.
Yeah.
Man, you never met no Frank Sinatra.
But because of how great Charlotte performed against Ronda Rousey, I can see them like going, hey, she kicked ass there. She had a kick-ass match with Asuka. And again, if they want to build her as the ultimate heel, especially if she does something underhanded to knock Becky off the, they can make her a gigantic heel by doing that. Because despite the fact that Becky has the heel tendencies, the crowd freaking loves her. So if the crowd loves her, guess what? She's a face, even though she's doing things that
Nefarious things.
Yeah. So if Charlotte does something to fuck over Becky and they're trying to make Charlotte a bigger heel, that's one way they could do it, and that's a scenario I can see. But again, you put a gun to my head. I'm saying my girl Asuka finally gets her shot at the title, and I think it would open up just a whole bunch of new matches that we haven't seen.
Yeah, agreed.
So I'd love to see that. Yep.
So I think that's everything.
Yeah, we announced our newest Hall of Famer,
Congratulations again, Tommy.
and
Make sure you have your induction speech ready in a couple weeks.
we announced our who is not going to be in the Hall of Fame anytime soon.
And he's still not in the Royal Rumble either.
He's not in two of them,
Yeah.
at least. Maybe even more.
We did our good, the bad, and the brainless. We made our predictions for TLC tomorrow night. Oh, one more thing about TLC. Does Ric Flair make an appearance?
No.
Not even in the crowd sitting in the front row as the proud papa that he is?
Unless Charlotte is, if we see Ric Flair in the front row, that means Charlotte's going to win. That's what they do.
Okay.
If the family member's in the crowd and they show said family member,
Yeah, but it's Ric Flair.
if they're gonna have Flair, he would come out with his daughter, but she doesn't need it at this point.
No, she's already
And
established
he has
herself.
not been. He hasn't been necessary storyline wise for this.
But if anything, we all know if Ric Flair needs anything, it's money. And if he makes an appearance, he gets money. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Ric Flair makes an appearance.
I just don't see it.
Okay, one last bonus.
I think he will be at the show. He's going to be behind the scenes watching the match.
Prediction: somebody who hasn't been announced for the pay-per-view that you could see make an appearance tomorrow.
I mean, the leader in the clubhouse would be Bray Wyatt. Now, if it's somebody that didn't see that coming, Lars Sullivan would be number 2.
That's a hell of a pick right there.
I mean, I think Lars could be another guy where being a substitute for.
So I'm coming as a face.
I don't know. It depends on what they want to do with him.
Ooh. What if they have all right, we're gonna have a 4th tag team for the tag team match between the Bar, the New Day, and the Usos, and it's Lars Sullivan and Spanky McSpanker as his tag team partner, and Spanky McSpanker eats the pinfall and the bar retains, and then
Were you part of the writers for NXT when they came up with Husky Harris and Eli Cottonwood and Skip Sheffield?
no, I just thought of the
Because-
most random name I could think
Yes,
of.
I know, but that's what their names sounded like. Hey,
You like
this guy's kind of fat.
Let's call him Husky Harris.
Let's call him Husky Harris. Eli Cottonwood, who could be Braun Strowman's taller, skinnier string bean brother.
half brother. Has to be the half brother.
Right. Who cut the greatest promo about a mustache ever. Chris Jericho went in great length in one of his books about that. He was like, yeah, the guys behind the scene thought it was like the greatest thing ever. So, yeah. Good times, man. Tommy's doing a lot of caps today. He's really angry. So, anyway.
Because they're happy that we finally found a way to get a stream on the Twitter. It's because I'm actually on the phone and not on the iPad, because the iPad is tisms beyond tisms.
Right.
So it's
Booyah.
almost on it's on its last leg. So that's that.
Sad.
So I think we've touched base on everything.
Yeah, just about everything.
You're right. We are forgetting something.
What, I don't know if we're forgetting things.
I like to say that we're forgetting things.
We're
just so I can add to
forgetting.
the dramatic.
We're okay. We're forgetting things. So
That Curtis Axel is still alive in the.
what are we forgetting?
He's embracing it. He's finally embracing it. You know what it is? We put him in the Hall of Fame. Last year he won Follower of the Year. He's now embracing it because now he's going to be forever a part
He's trying.
of the podcast. I mean, Tommy, you're going to have to send us a picture so we could print it out and put it on our wall, because that's where all the Hall of Famers are going. Which is going to be great. I can't wait for the Shano pick. We got to find the most ridiculous picture of
No,
Shano and put it on.
I'll probably find one where he's in his suit.
I'm gonna try to Google it and see if we get one with him like a funky face on his face, and maybe him with him with Tommaso Ciampa.
So yeah. See, he's honoring Larry the Axe.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take it.
So anyway,
But today, December 15th of 2018, for an incredible 1,419 days, Epic Marks Podcast Hall of Famer Curtis Axel is still alive in the 2015 Royal Rumble.
right.
So, that's another edition of the fastest growing podcast of two guys to talk about professional wrestling while drinking 40s and Colt 45 except for
usually.
today. Obviously for
I've got a 4-hour drive I gotta make.
But if you like what you witnessed here for episode 110 and you've been a follower, this is the first time you're watching it, make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Periscope, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to us on the YouTube at the THE, the letter F, the letter N, MARKS. If you follow us, we will follow you back on all those social media outlets.
Yeah.
So, from episode 110 of the FM Marks podcast,
I'm Jay
and I am Brainless Bob, make sure you mark out.
with your guac out. See you, everybody.
Thanks for tuning
Enjoy
in.
the pay-per-view, and we'll see you next week.
2 weeks for your speech, Tommy. 2 weeks.